Yo, what up, Street Talks? This is Eric Kim. All right, another turbo thought. This one is about ignorance. So, you know the saying, ignorance is bliss? I think that's a little bit too simplistic. I would prefer the saying, ignorance is necessary unto knowledge, even as Nietzsche said something like, if you really want to become wise, you cannot know too much. You actually need to, in some aspects of your life, shield yourself with a veil of ignorance. Because what is knowledge? Knowledge, if we think about knowledge kind of via negativa status, that means to become more wise or to become more knowledgeable. It means essentially to subtract the nonsense or to subtract fallacies or to subtract kind of like falsities from your life. Now, I think this is really important because to be quote wise is kind of a random task that is actually not super empirical, but to rid your mind of nonsense is generally a good thing. And also, I know for myself, my notion of courage is essentially, it's also kind of a via negativa thing where it's like I'm more courageous by not inhibiting my actions or activities because of fear of negative consequences. It's not necessarily like being brave, like jumping into the midst of battle. It's more of like there's certain things I want to do or say or attempt or create, but if fear is holding me back, in order to become more brave, it's essentially doing the opposite. It's subtracting the fears I got, right? And so ignorance is interesting too, because if we think about knowledge or wisdom kind of like a subtracted process, that means we become wiser in life by figuring out what not to do. And even they talk about this in happiness, is that like a lot of people don't know what makes them happy, but a lot of people know with greater clarity what makes them miserable. So in order to be happier in life, that essentially means to do less of the stuff which makes you miserable, or don't spend time with people who you feel is like a negative influence on you, and so forth. And ignorance is interesting because part of it is to ignore what you don't find personally or important or relevant to you, and that means only focus your energies and your efforts on things which you genuinely care about and things that you feel like you can impact, because we can't change everything in life. Nor I don't think we should try to change everything in life. It's more of like choose a few domains that you personally care about and you feel like you're strong enough for the deed and intelligent enough, and then give all your strength into that period, those kind of focus points. So it's like, if you think about like, if you're a laser, if you want to cut through steel, you need to focus all your energies on that one point to cut through the steel. If you're too diffuse like a sun, like sunlight, you know, you'll kind of warm it up, but you won't actually be able to penetrate it. So obviously this is just kind of my philosophy. So in some ways, apply a via negativa strategy. Like, you know, once again, this is the reason I don't follow the news, I don't read the news, I haven't done it for like 6 or 7 years. And as a consequence, I've become much more productive. I'm generally in a better mood. And I feel like I'm also wiser too, because even with you know, coronavirus, I don't follow any of the news, but when I do talk to people and they're talking about more about like local news, like, oh, they're gonna shut down the state parks, that might affect me, it might not. So when it comes to ignorance, my suggestion is decide to ignore what is not personally relevant to you, what you personally don't care about, or things that you cannot personally affect or change. So, you know, we all live in a market economy. You know, I don't think we'll be able to overturn it. So trying to get people to not be capitalist consumerist seems kind of an ineffective strategy in life. So figure out what you could control in terms of like voicing your opinion, in terms of voting, in terms of you know, sharing your thoughts and your opinions with other people and stuff like that. And know that in order to become more wise and intelligent, it's essential to become more ignorant in what you don't care about.